Okay, so a lot of the players are saying, we talked to Trevor Bauer, Power Hour, Bauer Outage. He told us that he hated that this conversation was happening in front of the public eyes, which is basically what you just alluded to. But you just said for 18 years, you loved utilizing the media to get your narrative across. What is something that would get leaked out there? For instance, I've been told that the MLB will float out a proposal that they haven't officially made yet to the media, see how the people respond, and then they're like, okay, good, this one's fucking good, let's write it down, we'll send this over as an actual proposal. Is that something that the MLB has done for a long, long time now? Is that kind of the move?
So what we would do is we would float when we wanted to sign a player, we would float it out there to see what sort of reaction we get to a certain player, whether it may move the revenue needle. If we were going to trade a player, we would start floating out, listen, this may not be the best teammate. We may have a clubhouse issue, so we could try to ease the pain when we're making a trade because of money. When we're doing some sort of promotion, we would float out there an idea that we had. From a labor standpoint, what you are using the media for is not that you're trying to see what the public, I hate to say this, but by the way, Tony Clark and Rob Manfred, the owners and the players, it doesn't matter to them whether or not the public is on their side. What the leaks are for actually is so that the other side gets wind of what's coming in advance so they can start working their own constituencies as they try to gain momentum toward an agreement. Because having the public, as Trevor Bauer said, it should all be done in private. I wish that he would stop tweeting and everybody would stop tweeting about it and being so angry with one another. Why can't we all just get along, for Christ's sake?
Well, because
But
you were a scumbag leaking information that was a lie about a guy because you wanted to cut him because he was worth money and you wanted him to be a bad clubhouse guy. That's why we can't all get along.
listen, it's not. Let me explain, and I'm not going to defend myself other than to tell you, if you think that I invented this, then I've got a bridge to show you. This happens everywhere in every sport all the time. We would leak that we're interested in a certain player just so that player would not sign with a different team, or so the agent would call so we could drive the prices down. We would leak that we weren't interested in a player when agents would leak that we were. Even if we were to try to keep the prices down, agents leak the fact that every team is interested in a player, so the price goes up. Do you know how many goddamn times, can I say that on this show?
Yeah.
So how many times I had to deal with our owner because he would read an article saying, oh my God, the Mets are going to sign Reyes. We've got to pay him his 7th year. We've got to give it to him. What? No, we don't. He's not going to sign with them. But we overpaid so many times because agents would leak and owners would fall for it every time.
So how does that process work when you want to leak something out there? Do you have a few trusted media members, and are they in on the leak, or do they truly think it's legit?
Oh, you are the first person to ever ask that.
Attaboy, AJ! Woo! Attaboy, AJ!
So that's it. That is awesome. Here's how that works. There's certain media members who we would be a source for. We would give information to, and what we would ask for in return is information back. If they're hearing about player movement or about a trade or about any sort of information that could help us as we're either drafting players or signing players or trying to trade players. And what we would get from that media member by leaking information to them and having them be a source is every time you see a list when a manager is being hired or a GM is being hired or a president is being hired, and you read a list of, well, there are these 5 individuals who are being considered for this job. That is payback for when they got information from that executive throughout the course of their career. So when you see an assistant GM who is on a list of names being considered for a GM job, that is mostly in part to the fact that that assistant GM is in touch with that member of the media, giving him or her information that's going on within an organization.
So we can find out who the rats are for every single organization, basically, whenever time comes and time reveals itself.
So we had a way of finding that out is we would give different scouts and different people different information about trades that we were doing, and then we would see what would make it out there, and then we would know exactly who was talking.
Kim Kardashian and Kanye West did the same thing with their baby names. They told their group of friends different names that they were thinking, and then whichever one made it to the tabloid, see you later, you're never getting any more breast milk from this titty. It's not a bad play. The Rob Manfred, you think he's the one leaking the information himself, or who do you think is doing it from the MLB side? Do you think Manfred is involved in these proposal leaks and this type of stuff, or is it somebody different than Rob?
No, they do it actually much more systematically. It's people at much lower levels than Rob. You've got the deputy commissioner who speaks to members of the media. He's not much lower. He's one level lower. You've got people within organizations. So the commissioner's office will deal with the teams on the executive council, and they will talk about, all right, we're going to get this information out. We're going to get that information out. And then they will choose in different markets where to do it. Do you think that it's a secret or a surprise when Randy Levine meets the media the way he did today, or when Ken Kendrick talks to the media the way he did in Arizona? None of that is a surprise. Do you think that Trevor Bauer, for 1 minute, do you think Trevor Bauer does this and his union does not like what he's doing? Because if that were the case, he would stop doing it.
David, who's handling it better, you think? The owners or the players? Like
players, got to be the players. The fans are on a player's side for the first time in history. You agree, AJ?
I want the professionals' advice, Pat.
Yeah, I think they're all tied for last. I think that both sides are incredibly tone deaf right now. I think that with this global pandemic, with everything that's going on with the social unrest, with the systemic racism that's finally coming to the forefront, that it is unbelievably tone deaf what the players and what the owners and what the commissioner is doing. Unfortunately, there's no other choice because baseball's in a position that the other leagues are not in. They have got to get a labor agreement discussed and agreed to now because they didn't get their season started. But trust me, the NBA, the NHL, and the NFL are going to have their own problems because team revenues have gone into the crapper.
Look good, feel good, play good.
Play good, pay good, live good, die good.